2021 has been one heck of a year for the Marvel Cinematic Universe as things finally get back into gear following Avengers Endgame, and it's looking like 2022 is gonna be even bigger, so today we're gonna be counting down the top 10 biggest MCU events to look forward to in 2022. Coming in at number 10, we're starting off with MORBIUS, a movie that's technically a Sony production and not from Marvel Studios, but still appears to be somewhat MCU related regardless. Portrayed by Jared Leto, Morbius is set to tell the story of Dr. Michael Morbius, a scientist suffering from a rare blood disease who finds himself afflicted with a form of vampirism after he attempts to cure himself and becoming a violent anti-hero in the process. Although we only have a couple of trailers to go by at the moment, it seems like this movie will have some connections to the Spider-Man side of the MCU, with Michael Keaton's Vulture showing up and even some Spider-Man graffiti that seems to imply that this movie might just wind up being important for the Marvel multiverse that Peter Parker seems set to blow wide open in No Way Home. Speaking of a Spider-Man themed multiverse, coming in at number 9, we have Into the Spider-Verse 2. With the original Into the Spider-Verse being one of the best superhero movies ever made, in my humble opinion, we absolutely can't wait to see what happens next in this long-awaited sequel. With how many corners of Spider-Man's weird history that the original drew from, and with how interested Sony seems to be in connecting their various Spider-Man films, it seems like a solid prediction that there will at least be some cameos related to either Tom Holland or other MCU-related actors or characters, and I just can't wait to see what surprises are in store from the characters that taught us how anyone can really be Spider-Man. Coming in at number 8, we have our first proper MCU entry with the Disney Plus show, Secret Invasion. Based on the comic book event of the same name, in which a large amount of Skrulls had infiltrated Earth's mightiest heroes and various government agencies, this miniseries will focus on Nick Fury and the Skrull Talos as they seek to uncover a Skrull conspiracy. Finally getting to see Nick Fury in a starring role after years of just being a supporting character in the MCU is definitely exciting, but the biggest appeal of this series for me is getting to see the political thriller element of the MCU on display again, but this time with shape-shifting aliens involved as well. Don't you just love comic book weirdness? Coming in at number 7, we have She-Hulk, another Disney Plus miniseries. Bringing back Mark Ruffalo in the role of Bruce Banner and debuting Tatiana Maslany in the title role after a tremendous performance in the Canadian TV show Orphan Black, this show looks poised to introduce a second Gamma Green hero to the Avengers team. And given the fact that we haven't even gotten a standalone story with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk yet, we're hoping that this miniseries will finally give the MCU a good in-depth story about the struggle that the Hulk characters have in balancing their multiple lives. And with such talented actors leading the cast, that looks to be exactly what we're gonna get. Coming in at number 6, we have Ms. Marvel. Kamala Khan has become a fan-favorite Avengers character over the last few years as a fangirl of the Earth's mightiest heroes that winds up gaining her own size-changing powers and becomes a homegrown superhero of her own. After thoroughly enjoying Ms. Marvel's role as a lead in the Avengers video game that released last year, I can't wait to see this character explored more in depth on screen and building up to the 2023 MCU film The Marvels, in which Kamala Khan will finally get to team up with her idol and inspiration, Carol Danvers. Coming in at number 5, we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. While talking about this film will always have a tinge of sadness to it following the tragic passing away of Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman in 2020, this sequel to one of Marvel's biggest hits has promised to honor Boseman's legacy as T'Challa without recasting him or replacing him with special effects. With much of the cast of the first movie returning and the focus placed on the other heroes of Wakanda such as Okoye and Shuri, we can rest assured that this movie will have just as much love and care put into it as the first film, perhaps even more so out of respect to T'Challa's legacy. Coming in at number 4, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Now, the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie has had a long road to being made, with James Gunn being briefly let go from the project and getting to make the Suicide Squad before eventually being rehired. But before we get to a proper full-length reunion for the Guardians in 2023 with Volume 3, 2022 will be bringing us the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, apparently inspired by the infamous Star Wars special of old and being filmed on the same sets as Volume 3. If there's anybody that can teach us the true meaning of Christmas in 2022, it's gotta be Rocket Raccoon, right? Coming in at number 3, we have Moon Knight. For years, Oscar Isaac was one of the biggest fan picks to play the role of Mark Spector if there was ever a Moon Knight MCU project, and next year, that's finally becoming a reality. While we've only gotten to see a brief teaser trailer so far, this Disney Plus series looks to be bringing the dark and mystical drama that people love about Moon Knight in the first place, alongside a killer performance by Oscar Isaac as the multiple personality possessing superhero. This looks like it could be a great introductory performance for a character that we can't wait to see bouncing off of other sarcastic characters in the MCU. Plus, you know, Oscar Isaac being pretty hot really helps. Coming in at number 2, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. When it comes to movies that have already been built up in the MCU, the Doctor Strange sequel just might have the most hype going for it. We'll have the return of Wanda Maximoff after the stunning events of WandaVision, and the continuation of Strange's adventures in the multiverse following his contribution to the events of Spider-Man: No Way Home. Add the fact that this film is being directed by the one and only Sam Raimi, the mastermind behind the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films, and this movie seems destined to deliver some of his wild horror as we continue to explore the Marvel multiverse. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have Thor: Love and Thunder, the 4th Thor movie overall, and the incredibly anticipated sequel to Thor: Ragnarok. Featuring the return of that film's iconic director, Taika Waititi, and also featuring Natalie Portman getting to return as Jane Foster's incarnation of Thor, and this movie seems poised to even outdo its much-beloved predecessor. Add the incredibly talented Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, on top of cameo appearances by all of the Guardians of the Galaxy following Thor's adventures with them post-Endgame, and Thor: Love and Thunder is my most anticipated MCU film of 2022. That's all the time we have for today's countdown, but if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and be sure to let us know down in the comments which MCU project you're most looking forward to in 2022. As always, I've been Josh Busker, and I'll see you all next time, Nerd Squad.